Howdy, and welcome to another live broadcast of the Real Sith of Genius. I am one of your hosts, Ranger J 1999, and as with me is my heterosexual life mate, gaming brother, Finity. And with us today is a special guest. You know him, you love him as the great bearded one, Mr. Grande Patron himself from Team Skunk. So we are here today to have some fun. What's going on, guys?
That was the weirdest introduction you have ever given
Well,
me
you are, that's what you are.
I would agree. I was like, awkward.
It's not awkward. It was true.
Okay, sure thing. Oh man, no, it's great to be here. Great. Hope everybody's having a great weekend.
Yeah.
And I'll clarify for Grande because he's not going to say it. It's Team Skunk Omega. Omega's got to represent.
That is correct. It is Team Skunk Omega. My Omega voice would definitely want to know all about that.
That's right. So, all right, let me get some music playing. What are we going to do today? Well, we're just going to have some fun. One of the things that we've been wanting to do, and we kind of did it a couple weekends ago. We just kind of we went specifically into GW Galactic War, but what we want to do today is we want to really just kind of break everything down. You know, for new players that are looking at this for the first time, kind of break down all the different aspects of the game and give you some insight on how it all works, some tips of the trade, and kind of get into everything, you know, to make you a better player. We haven't really had that opportunity, mainly because we've been covering a lot. Usually the Wednesday streams we get into a lot of the issues, you know, that is going on with the game and announcements and things of that nature. But this one we just want to break the game mechanics down. So you guys down to break some stuff down for the folks out there?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's start off with the first one, the Shard Shop. So the Shard Shop, who wants to take this one? Who wants to break this one down for the folks at home and how this works?
I guess I'll go.
Okay.
All right, you can get the next one, Grande.
Absolutely. That'll work.
All right. So the Shard Shop is where you can turn in shards of characters that you have already 7-starred. Now, this means that you have to have the characters already 7-starred, not that you have enough shards to get them there. So just be careful of that. Once you turn characters with excess shards into a 7-star, so for example, if you're 103 out of 100, once you turn that character into 7 stars, you'll have 3 extra shards. The Shard Shop allows you to convert those into Shard Shop currency. The rate is 1 shard gets you 15 currency, and you can then go ahead and buy different things in the Shard Shop. They're all pretty much going to be characters. You have the Grievous in 3 different amounts, which is going to be 5 shards, 10 shards, and 30 shards that will be there every single time. So those you guys will be able to get daily if you want to farm Grievous. That's why he's considered more of a whale tune, because you really need a lot of extra shards in order to get that. Otherwise, you'll be able to buy shards of characters that you're maybe farming and maybe a little bit harder to get because they only have a couple of hard nodes. So I don't know what you think, Grande, but my Shard Shop use has come more with characters like Ewok Scout, who only has like the 2 hard nodes and no Cantina nodes and no uses elsewhere. That's how I use it. I don't know how you use it.
So in the beginning, I used it strictly for Rey. It was Rey and Vader. That was it. And at the moment, I'm a little bit short on Shard Shop currency. I like to keep about 600 in there in case 2 Vader shards show up.
Yeah, that's what I use it for, Vader.
So it's pretty much until I'm done with everything in Galactic War and have all those characters 7-starred, it is my Vader shop. And after I have everybody in Galactic War done, I'll probably, and I know we'll probably go into Galactic War next, but I will probably I'll probably keep a nice little chunk of Galactic War currency available for me. And then at that point, I will probably start my down the road of Grievous and just keep enough in there in case I see some Vaders. But if not, I will keep it running that way. That's been the way I've normally done it, and I can't see a real reason to change. Is it a little bit annoying when you see somebody in there that's hard? If you see somebody in there like a Hoth Rebel soldier that only has 1 hard node, or you see somebody in there that maybe you really want, it is hard not to hit the buy button. It's also I have a little bit of OCD, so let me tell you, if I have a character that doesn't have a number of shards, it's a multiple of 5. A lot of times I'm like, oh, if I just bought those 2 shards, then they would be even. And when I'm buying shards somewhere else, then it'll all max out. And then I'm like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. And can we agree this is more of an end game tool feature? Because
I would agree. This is an end game tool feature.
You know, only when you get additional shards, you know, for tunes that you can convert them and then get into, you know, using them for what you want. I personally am using them for Vader. Why? Because it's the only place really you can get Vader right now, unless I'm wrong. I mean,
they started to introduce more with like the assault events and those kind of things, but yeah, it's still the primary one.
Yeah, if you go to Vader, which I'm doing now, and you look him up, that's it. He's available as achievement rewards. So, farming Vader is a good way to. I think that's the best place to do it. So, all right.
So to go with Grande's OCD message earlier, I'm actually saving every time I make sure that I have 1800 shard shop currency in case 6 Vaders show up. So I don't ever want to miss out on a Vader, so I have 1800 stored up at all times.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Never know. All right, so the shard shop, we've got that covered. Now let's go into the next one. We're going to kind of move from right to left. We just want to start with the shard shop. You can see that there's some hut-looking fellow in the background with some ships. We don't know what that is yet, so we'll go on to the next item, which is Galactic War. Galactic War, Grande, go ahead, brother. What is Galactic War, and break it down.
So Galactic War, if I'm not mistaken, it opens up at level 40. That's whenever you can first go to the Galactic War table. And whenever you go in there, there are 12 nodes, and you go through those 12 nodes, and they get progressively harder as you go through, and you get every time you finish one, you get to open up a little box that kind of like rattles and shakes until you open it, and you get different items. You get some credits, you get some crystals, you get some Galactic War currency or Galactic War coin. And this is a progressive battle where you're trying to use all of your characters, or at least that's the intent, is for you to use all of your characters. So you go up against 5 opposing characters, and your characters maintain their turn meter, their protection, and their health as they go through. So it's more of a long battle rather than just a short, quick battle. And then also to the level of the teams that you fight in this Galactic War are based on what your highest PvP power is, or your highest squad arena power is. So as you progress in squad arena, your Galactic War will get consistently harder. And then, so how this works out is you click the select battle button, you go in and you select your characters that you want, and then and you typically want to kind of run this. Potentially, this is where you would potentially want to run a couple of stuns, maybe a healer, a taunt, kind of like 1 or 2 of every one of the general classifications of characters. 2 attackers, 2, maybe one support character, a taunt, and a healer, something like that. What also carries over is the cooldowns carry over. So if you use an ability late in a match, it will not be available until all of its cooldowns are there for the next cooldowns in the next battle. When we also too, whenever we go into Galactic War, there is the ability to retreat. This is a huge deal, having the ability to retreat. If you, let's say, lose a character while in a battle because you realize, oh man, this was not the correct team to bring in, use the retreat button, and that's up there at the gear. If you hit the gear and you hit retreat, all of your characters will save them from dying and save their turn meter or whatever, so you can kind of play around. Galactic War is one of the areas where you can personally theory craft on what teams work well, what synergies work well. use Galactic War to your advantage. Use Galactic War as an area to kind of test out your own character comps and see if they work out well. Um, and then when you go into the Galactic War shipments now, this is where this is probably the easiest area to get characters from. And I know we've talked about it before. Typically, most people would say that either a Lumi or a Phasma should be first, and then really after that, it kind of breaks up as to what you want to do. Which characters, Tebow is in there. He's obviously great for the raid against the Rancor. Um, and you can kind of select characters that way. Did I miss anything? Did you guys think of anything that we probably need to talk about with Galactic War?
Finn?
So one of the things, so a couple of things just to add on to, because Grande went through it really well. One thing that's different with Galactic War versus what you will do in PvP is that your turn meter carries over from node to node. So you can devise strategies based on that aspect alone. I can tell you my strategy is always the first 4 nodes. Once you're level 80, things change than when you guys are leveling up. So if you're currently leveling up, chances are that you're facing some difficult nodes all the way up, and it's a little bit different. But if you're level 80 and you guys have some characters and you're not sure which ones you need for each one, the first few nodes tend to be fairly easy, nodes 1 through 5. I have a list of all of my high level characters that I think may be useful, even including like a 4-star level 73 Daka. Because of the stun and whatnot, she might be useful at some point. So what I do is I will, in the first 4 nodes, use 20 characters. So I will change the 5 characters that I have every single time, so that when I need them later on, if I need them, then they already have turn meter. And even if I'm facing a team that's like a speed team, like a droid team with a Jawa engineer, I have still went ahead of the Jawa engineer in Galactic War.
Yes.
You won't do that in Arena, because Arena everyone starts out equal. But take advantage of the different mechanisms in Galactic War when you guys are trying to plan out how you're going to do it. And if you're struggling, think of different strategies and different advantages you have. And turn meter is a major one in Galactic War.
Absolutely. I mean, turn meter is huge, and it's one of the tables.
It's huge.
Where the devs have used to talk to us, to teach us about turn meter. Another one would be the tank challenge in the challenge table, but definitely turn meter is way important.
Yeah, and I think you just have to, the more of a roster you can get, the better. You can see I've got my roster going to where I've got a lot of 80s now, and I do, like they say, use different. I have 2 teams I run, actually 3. You can see the primary team I have up there is kind of where I go through the first 6, 7 nodes. I have my heavy hitting PvP team for the last couple nodes, because if you look at the nodes for me, the way, and it's kind of broken out that way. I don't know why I left Galactic War, I didn't mean to, but 1 through 5 are easy. 6 gets hard, right? So that's my first main team that I'll use. 7 and 8 get a little bit easier. Then 9, 10, and 11 get really hard. So I've got 2 teams for that that I use to clear those, right? So typically, if you can have really 3 solid teams, depending on your level, your power level, and what you're facing, the better. So for me, I'll clear the first 6 or 7, no problem with the team I'm currently running. Then I'll get a break. Then 9 comes in, and depending on what the squad makeup is of that is who I'll go run in there, because 9 will be 9 is really difficult, 10 gets really difficult, 11's difficult, and then 12 for some reason is still the same way, where if you get past 11, you just go in there and it's like 5 tunes that are like level 80, but they have like 1 star. So I mean, I could send 1 tune in there and clear it out with no problem. So you just have to be smart about when you use your characters and stuff like that. It can be frustrating. I clear Galactic War every day, but I know there's players out there that do not clear it because they just don't have the tunes to actually clear it yet. But investing in tunes and getting them to 80 and gearing them the best you can is the best bet you can get for Galactic War. So anything else for Galactic War we need to cover?
You want to go through some more of the characters a little bit?
Sure.
Oh yeah, inside the redeem area.
Yeah. Let's go through
sure.
some of the characters.
So let's go from the top and work our way down. Cad Bane. Start there.
Good against the Scoundrel Challenge.
Yes,
Good
I
against
just
Jedi's.
yeah, I just can see I've got him to where I can 7-star him. I will be using it for the Scoundrel Challenge and for the mod battle. You have to have Scoundrels for the mod battle.
That's right, for the mod battles too. So,
And he's also a potential character for a rework really soon. He's been rumored to be one of the few characters
yep.
that is expected to get a rework in the near future. So you'd be kind of just prepping for that. But I think you guys would agree with me. I don't think he's a character that you would want early. He
I would
doesn't have
agree.
too much worth early.
No,
I would agree.
no. The next character does Luminara Undoli. She is. I mean, I still use her, especially in Galactic War. Not as
There are a
much.
couple of people. There are a couple of people in Omega that have her maxed, completely maxed, and still run her in PvP.
I mean,
Actually,
you can't go wrong.
So in game, not the worst character for sure.
No, she's a great. She's an attacker, so she's classified as an attacker. So not only does she hit hard, she has an ability block, which is very key, and her heal over time is amazing, right? It really is. So she's one of those characters you must farm. She was the first character I went after because I knew I was going to need that healer for doing Galactic War, and I used her for PvP quite a lot. Finn, your thoughts on Lumi?
I still use her quite a bit in Galactic War. And yeah, she was my first character to 7-star, and I don't regret ever getting her to that point.
No.
Probably if you're first starting the game, either this character or the one all the way at the bottom would be one of your first two that you would want to get.
And we'll get to her. So, yeah, we'll get to her. All right, next is
Sure.
Night Sister Initiate.
I have this character 7-starred with 7 abilities. So
That's because you're a
let me just-
potato head. Got Night Sisters.
because I'm a potato head. I would agree. I'm a potato head on this one. I would have to tell you, this is probably one of the least important characters. And the one that I look at that and I go, did I really put that many resources in the Night Sister Initiate?
You did it.
She's as tanky as all get out, but what a letdown for a character. That's all I have to say.
I actually started farming her when they mentioned that update a few months ago about slower characters getting more damage, and she's fairly slow, and she had so many hit points and protection, and I thought she was going to be really good, so I started to farm her, and then that was a letdown, so she immediately stopped. So she's like 2-star for me right now. So I haven't really done much progress on her since.
I put her in the realm of Ugnaught, but that's another debate we'll get into here soon.
Yeah.
All right, next one is Tebow. Now, for a while there, Tebow was a character that everyone was like, stay away from him, blah, 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 right? Then the raid launched, and I tell you, Tebow's on my team. I use him now in Galactic War because he's an amazing character. I mean, his abilities and his leader ability is pretty darn epic and awesome. I mean, he can take once he's maxed out, like I've got him maxed out. If he's stealth, he removes 100% turn meter. That's insane.
As long as you have potency up, he is way good. Absolutely.
And I do,
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah.
He is an incredible character, and he can remove buffs. Like Qui-Gon, he can remove buffs. I mean, he is a fantastic character.
Yes.
I
would agree. He is probably if after you did Lumi, Tebow would be a great choice. And there's easily somebody could put the argument that you might want to get Tebow before you got one of those other two. But that's 3 good characters.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. Finn, anything you want to add on Tebow?
And he's really good in Galactic War when I
Yes.
faced a couple of I'm a Gundy lead Jedi teams. So whenever you're facing counters, because he can give stealth to everybody in the squad with his leader ability, he's great for when you're facing counter squads or if you're facing a 5s or something like that. He works out really well in those.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next is Biggs Darklighter, which we talked in our last stream about, but I'll let Finn start off this time.
Recent rework.
Yeah, Finn,
absolutely.
go ahead.
So I'll actually give credit to Grande here because he's the one that pointed out to me a little while ago. Biggs Darklighter by himself isn't terribly like a great character. He really needs Wedge with his new abilities to become really good. But for people that are prepping for tier 7 raids, he has so many sources of shards that getting him in Galactic War makes him a really easy 7-star farm if you guys are looking for another character to get your first group of 5, just to get in the raids and whatnot. I would really say that if you are looking for characters just for raiding purposes, not the quality of the raid, but just being able to qualify for it, Biggs is a really easy one to get to 7-star. I think that's his greatest attribute. He has an ally assist ability, which is useful also just overall, but his character needs some work, but his ability to get to 7-star really quick, I think, is a selling point.
Yeah, and you can see I
I
could
would agree.
promote him to 7 right now. I just haven't yet.
You know, I mean, you potentially you need him for the mod challenges for the Rebel event. So there's a couple other reasons to have Biggs, and you know he's a great attacker. So other than that, everything's been said about him. I would not put him in the top 4 or 5. You'd farm.
No.
Probably not.
No, definitely not.
All right,
I'd probably
next.
put him 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next one is Dachka. Dachka, I know you have some really good insights on this, Finn, so I'm going to let you start with this one.
Sure. So, Dacha is pretty much going to be a new raid character for the AAT. Leader ability is anti-droid with the ability to remove turn meter. Looks like it has a lot of potential for the new raid. If you are thinking about the new raid in terms of what characters to farm and whatnot, there's a lot of characters with anti-droid abilities, but I think Dacha is probably one of the safer ones that you can expect will have a decent impact on the raid itself. So I would say that would be the focus of Dacha.
Yeah, I just
If
started
you're
farming
not,
him.
yeah, like if you don't have a lot of the other characters that we're mentioning here, like we mentioned a few just by name right now, and we'll go through the rest of them, but like Lumi and Phasma, for example, would be primary ones, maybe even a Tebow or like an 86, like just standard characters. You shouldn't really be worrying about raids because those characters will get you a lot better benefit. But if you are done with a lot of the main kind of quality characters and you're looking for somebody to farm for the raid, Dacha is a good one to put in there just because of the leader ability and how well it should adapt to it.
Grande?
I am currently farming Dachka for
Same
the
here.
new raids. So that's my, that's my current thing. I got, I'm kind of farming. I'm kind of slow farming Cad Bane at the moment just to get him to 7, and then I'm putting all the rest of my Galactic War currency into Dachka.
There you go. Awesome.
So
All right,
that's
so
what I'm doing.
cool. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Pago the Lesser. Now, Pago the Lesser was a character I farmed up initially because he had a lot of good. I mean, for Dark Side and everything like that, I farmed him up. He has a lot of good attributes. He hits like Barris, unfortunately, but he does give attack up. He does give speed to droids. He's mainly for droids, a droid lineup. He's a piece you can use for a droid lineup, although they've added some additional characters that have unfortunately made Poggle not as viable. He may want to, he could be viable too also with a Geonosian lineup. But, I mean, he has a lot of good attributes. He's a good character to have, but, as on the list of, importance, he's kind of lost in value. What do you guys think about that? Grande, what do you think about Poggle the Lesser?
Um, you know, Poggle has definitely lost a little bit. I will tell you that Poggle is very easy to gear. Poggle was probably good between 60 and 70, but
Yeah, he
not
was.
so great now. Not enough health, really not enough potency. I mean, there's some challenges with Poggle, but if you were running a droid team and maybe didn't have HK, you might use Poggle as lead, Poggle with a GS, as like an interim PvP team, or if you
Hmm.
just really really needed somebody on dark side, you might look at Poggle,
I mean,
but
he
that
gets,
would
yeah,
definitely not be one of my first.
no. Finn?
Yeah, with the new droid squads that are currently coming up there, Puggle's become kind of irrelevant, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend him at the start.
No. So we'll move on to the next one, IG-86. Now I gotta say, IG-86, when you get him geared up, hits like a Mack truck. Problem is, until you can get him max geared and get some mods on him, I mean, the Rancor could one-shot his ass, no problem. But my God, does this sucker hit hard, especially with his double attack ability, and you get him all maxed out. I've used him in raids. He hits hard. He's a really good character for DPS that you want to have. I love IG-86. He's kind of fallen off for for purposes that I use him for. But I mean, if he's an easy character, if you're just starting a raid that can hit hard and really get you some damage, he's a good character. What are you guys' thoughts, Finn?
So 86, I would say, is either my number 3 or number 4 to farm in Galactic War, behind Lumi and Phasma and maybe Tusken Raider. 86 is a really good character to have at the beginning because he has the ally assist. He does a lot of damage, and when you're and for Dark Side, because there's not too
Mm.
many healers, you're looking for a lot of damage in order to avoid taking those big hits most of the time. So I would say that 86 should be one of the top ones that you would farm in GW.
I agree.
I'm agree. You gets to gear 11, great character. You could cool down on his call and assists,
Yep.
where he basically hits like GS. Better on a droid team because of his unique, but definitely top 5.
All right, let's move on to the next character, Tusken Raider. Finn, I'll let you guys talk about this one. I haven't really done anything with him. So, Finn, why don't you start us off with about Tusken Raider?
I love this character. He's basically a little bit of a tankier but little slower version of GS. He has the ally assist. He has turn meter reduction on his basic, so kind of the opposite of GS where he gets turn meter on crit. Tusken Raider has a chance, especially when you Omega it. It's really good. A chance to reduce turn meter. He's great overall as a character to have, especially on Dark Side and just in general because he's an ally assist character that doesn't die very easily. I use him in phase 1, and he's a really good turn meter reducer whenever I. He seems to be like a clutch one. Like he doesn't always hit it, but when Qui-Gon misses and I need that turn meter, Tusken Raider is there for me. So I love this character. He's kind of tied number 3 for me with 86 in terms of characters I would farm.
Okay, Grande.
I have Tusken Raider unlocked, but I'm not currently pushing on Tusken very hard, so I'm gonna have to rely on Finity's experience with
I know
Tusken
that's
Raider.
why I went with Finity because I haven't farmed him yet. I've started, but I haven't really got him to where he needs to be yet. So, okay, we'll move on to the next one, Resistance Pilot. I've got this character Max. I haven't done anything with them. I mean, they're a decent character, but they're way down. Unless you're running a Resistance team, which they're great on. If you can get a Resistance team, he's a great person to have for that team. But other than that, I mean, I haven't
You'll
really
need him for
done.
the mod challenges,
You'll need him for the mod challenges, absolutely. So
and
that's why I did
and
that.
there are not a whole lot of Resistance characters that you can put in on the mod challenges.
Right.
So if you were trying to go for the speed mods,
Yeah.
it would if you're looking at them, it's probably the second or third easiest Resistance character to get for that particular one.
Okay.
But hard to gear. Jiminy
Yeah.
Cricket, hard to
Yeah.
gear. I mean, tons of purples,
Yeah.
like 1,060 purples. I mean, I've got that character 7-starred, and I keep looking at him going, oh, my goodness, it's going to take forever
God.
to get that character to gear 8 or gear 9.
Mm-hmm. Affinity, anything you want to add?
Pain to gear. That's my only comment. Pain to gear.
Okay, so we've covered Resistance Pilot. Let's go to my girl. I mean, I love this character. Use him in PvP. Use him everywhere. Captain Phasma. What a great character.
Yes.
Can add turn meter. Can do. I mean, does so much. Can speed down the entire team. Great leader ability. You don't even need her for leader ability. I don't even use her for a leader ability. I use her just because she's such a dynamic character that can do so much for your team, especially in PvP, which I'll demonstrate when we get to the PvP section. But I mean, I can't say enough good things about Captain Phasma. Second character I farmed in GW. I don't know if this was the first one you guys went for, or you went for Lumi first, but I highly recommend you get Captain Phasma. You'll need her for the mod challenge because you'll need her for that. But just in general, everything that she can do, she's such a dynamic piece to any team. I think she's awesome. Finn, what are your thoughts on Phasma?
So she's definitely one of my top 2. The way I farmed GW at the beginning when I was first playing is I unlocked Lumi, then I unlocked Phasma, and then I took Lumi to 7-star. because Phasma's leader ability was just so useful. So I didn't want to not have her on the team even at a low star, and have to wait for Lumi to finish 7 star. So I actually got Phasma right after I unlocked Lumi, and then I finished 7 starring Lumi after Phasma. So um, the only other comment I can add is that your squad will have a hard time losing at lower levels when you have Brianna Toth on your team.
Pretty much. Nice Game of Thrones reference. Anything you want to add on the magnificence of Phasma there, Grande Patrana?
You know, so she's my leader about half the time. If I'm going up against a non-Jedi team in PvP,
Mm-hmm.
Phasma's my girl. She's also great in the Rancor raid. Just a lot of good stuff to say about Phasma. Also, too, when you're going back and you're looking at the at the challenges, there is a first order challenge, and Phasma is probably the easiest character for that particular one for the offense mods if you want offense mods for the mod challenges. So, but there's
Absolutely.
tons of reasons. Phasma is either my first or second choice to get out of Galactic War, either before or after Lumi. So that's what I got.
Absolutely. All right, and then the last person on here is Magma Trooper. Now I have maxed Magma Trooper, but I can tell you right now is he's decent damage. His ability, his main one, can not only hit its main target but hit a secondary target with damage, which is nice. Throws a grenade that does turn meter reduction. I mean, just a good character. Again, not on the high priority list to farm. I just farmed him because I wanted another Empire character. He does that great. I'm finishing up my Empire team. I'm about to, here in the next couple of days, go in and do the Empire Challenge. But he is a nightmare to gear. Let me just tell you, I mean, my goodness. That's his major drawback, is just as we talked about Resistance Pilot and some of the other ones. I mean, I guess they're like, if you want to spend crystals to get them done faster, by all means go ahead, but he's one of those pet projects that you should wait for later on until you're ready to do the Empire event. But Grandy, what is your thoughts on Magma Trooper?
Um, a lot of people have a little bit of a bitter taste in their mouth about Magna Trooper if you've been playing for a long time. Um, I think that because Magma Trooper was originally the daily login character from 3 or 4 months back, and then went into Chromiums, and then immediately went into Galactic War. So some people have a little bit of a bad taste because of that. But a decent character. Once again, you gotta be working on that Empire team. You gotta be working on, maybe you really need potency mods for some reason. That would be an okay reason, but definitely probably going to be one of the last 2 or 3 characters that I farm out of Galactic War.
Right.
And obviously, don't really and truly the 50 crystal refresh thing. My
Don't
goodness,
use that.
don't do that. Don't use that button.
Ever.
Like, ever use that button.
All right, Finn, any thoughts on Magma Trooper?
I have Magma Trooper unlocked. I was underwhelmed by the abilities, and there was all the controversy, like Grande said. So I just have Magma Trooper unlocked, and that's pretty much it. Don't really have much of an interest actually to gear him up. So
Okay.
that's where I stand with it.
All right, so that's everything about Galactic War I think that people need to know about. Is there anything else you want to cover before we move on?
You want to run through a quick top 5 since we were doing it kind of scattered, but
Sure, we
Sure.
can do a quick top 5.
All right, who do you think is number 1? I say Lumi.
I say Lumi.
All right.
agreed.
All right, number 2, Phasma.
Phasma.
Okay.
Phasma.
Number 3 might get maybe Tebow or IG86. I would say IG86.
Man, I could see this either way. Tebow or IG86, definitely.
I would go 86 or Tusken Raider. So I guess we can put 86 there.
Okay,
Yep.
86. Okay, 4, 5.
Tebow.
Tebow
Gotta be in there
Got to
somewhere.
be in the top 5. I could say
Yeah.
Tusken Raider too. I don't see the other characters where I'm like, yeah, I could see them above Tusken Raider.
Yeah, I would put Tusken Raider at 4 and Tebow 5 personally, but I could go the other way on that too.
Okay, so just in general, we know 1 and 2 and 3, and then you can flip 4 and 5 with Tebow and Tusken Raider. We all in agreement on that?
I am, yes.
Awesome. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, so I think
we've beat this horse.
Yeah, it spit blood and said, "Get the hell off me." All right, so we're moving
That's
on.
Right.
All right, so next is events. What are events, Finn?
Events are stuff that randomly come around and just pop up in that box. And even when you have them completed, you get that stupid thing on your main Cantina screen that says, there is a new achievement. A new event going on. I hate that thing. So, events originally used to be a place where... Events originally used to be a place where there were always two events ongoing. One was for training droids, one was for credits.
Right.
And they have since gotten rid of the credit one and replaced it with the credit heist that now comes every 6 to 12 days on a weekday. So what you will see in the events area is any new special type of events. So you will see that there may be the credit heist. There are the assault battles now that come, I think, at the first week of every month or so. They've put in like the Endor, the Forest Save, Forest Moon Apple event. They had some of the droid events in there. So it's all just a place where you can get some special bonuses to some of the loot that you're getting throughout the rest of the game.
Okay. Anything you want to add on to that, Grande?
Yeah, I mean, this is where you get Yoda. This is where you get Rebel event. This is where you get Empire event. This is where you get Ewok event. It is kind of nice though that that you don't have to continually check this. There will, if you go back to the Cantina screen on the right-hand side, there will be an events button that comes up on the right that kind of like immediately all the way on the opposite side from where characters are. And so you could click that, so you're not always having to come in here. I would, like for example, you don't see it right now, but they're saying that the Yoda event starts in 11 days on my alt account. So for those people going for Yoda, you know that Yoda starts in 11 days. Don't do the training droid event. I mean, I've tried them.
It's a waste of energy.
It is a waste. It is a huge, huge waste. The credit one wasn't much better.
Right. And the reason we say that is because you get training droids and stuff from Galactic War. You get them from other battles. You don't need them. I don't even know why they have it. It's just like
I don't know either. But the special events are way cool. Sometimes those special events take different currency. The droid event, for example, and some of the other ones took ally tokens, which was pretty sweet. You could refresh them with ally tokens. Anyway, a lot of neat things happen in the events area.
Okay.
I'll always look at it.
Okay. Next, let's get into, before we get into Squad Arena, let's do something, as we just did DW, let's go into shipments. All right.
Okay, regular shipments.
All right, shipments is where you can get a couple of items. You can get gear, high-end gear on the top, and you can spend crystals on that. You can also, and this is all crystals for the first 9, I think, 9 or 10. You can get characters. You can use crystals to get characters. And then on the bottom, you can buy gear that you need. It's lower end gear, but you can use it, and sometimes you do need the pieces. And it is a daily requirement, which we will get into when we go to guild activities. What are your guys' thoughts on the guild shipment, or not guild shipments, but the shipment section itself? Finity, your thoughts first.
So I think that the characters for shards is really only if you are trying to get the last few shards of a character. Overall, chromium packs are going to be better for you getting characters, but if you are looking
it's
for
so
one
perfect you said that. It's so perfect you said that. Look at that. I've got 5s up, 98 out of 100. I got 150 I can spend, so we'll just go ahead and buy that. This is where you want to use it. Bam. Now I can get my...
Wait, you're buying 5s?
Yeah, that's true. I just do it for demonstration. I'm just doing it as a demonstration.
I'm saying no to that. I'm going to say no to
Too late,
that.
I already bought it. It's my game. I'll do what I damn well please.
So, they are useful to buy the last few shards that you need for a chromium character. I wouldn't buy it for a character available in Cantina or
I did anyway.
Arena or anything like that. I don't think they're going to be terribly useful if you buy characters like Ranger just did anywhere that is available anywhere outside. But if you are looking for completing a specific chromium character or something like that, then I would say that they're useful. Otherwise, definitely the gear is going to be the best part of it.
Yeah, it is.
With the gear, the way I do it, and I think everybody has a little bit of a different strategy. With me, I will always buy any purple that shows up. I've also noticed that some blues tend to be more useful than others. So there's some of the Mark II Centaur hollow projectors that I seem to use a little bit more. The Mach 1 Zactin, the Bactin Zactogel, some of those things. So I'll usually buy those if they ever pop up, and otherwise I'll buy whatever I have less than 200 of. So I'll click on it, see if I have 200. If I have less than 200, I buy it. If I have more, then I just skip it. So that's my strategy with shipments.
Okay.
So let's talk about it. Until you've bought the 500 shipments in order to get your 3 Vader shards and your 20 crystals, you probably want to buy everything that you can buy for credits at the bottom. And then I'm kind of within. I'd probably stop once you get over 200. You might say that you might wait till you get over 500 in a certain item. If you've got over 500 or something, there is a definitely better place to spend your credits than by continually buying stuff after you have over 500 of a particular item. The sim tickets, please don't buy those.
Please don't.
We will work on a better way to tell you how to get sim tickets. But buying sim tickets here is a really bad choice. Characters, it's debatable. I could see Affinity's way. I can also see it Ranger's way about potentially, if you absolutely were begging to get somebody finish them off. If you bought chromiums and maybe you've decided now you want to stop buying chromiums, let's say you bought chromiums to get Sunfac, or you bought chromiums to get Cody, or you bought chromiums to get Rex, and they're a very low drop rate in the chromium packs, potentially you could look at just slow farming a character rather than continuing to go for chromiums. I think it's debatable there. On the gear, if you need the gear, I would buy it, because this seems to be, especially if it's one of the low gears, like the 273 crystals or the 554 crystals. It's not a bad buy here. It's cheaper than doing the refreshes for energy to get that gear. So potentially the gear would be good here. I could see it both ways on the gear in the first 3 locations. Also, too, we probably need to talk about the refresh button at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a huge whale,
don't do it.
Or unless you're just really looking for something in particular that is going to show up there, because the raid gear goes in there in rotation. Some other stuff goes in there in rotation. I have clicked that refresh button before whenever I was putting a lot of money in the game, because I really needed scanners, and I was waiting for scanners to come in. However, at the moment, I do. However, I only hit the 50. It goes 50, 50, 100, 100, 100, 200, 200, 400. Anyway, I would maybe hit the 50, 50. I would not advise you hitting the hundreds. And if you are, then you already know more in the game than I do. So don't worry about it. Just do whatever you want to do, or you have more money to put in it than I do.
Hey.
Let me add to that really quick, just because the refreshes and shipments work a little bit different than what we were talking about with Galactic War. The tables on what you can buy in Galactic War are going to be the same. So if you refresh, you're going to get those same shards again. A mistake, if you guys are going to refresh shipments, don't expect that the same things are going to come back. It doesn't refresh the items that are in there already. It'll just refresh the entire shipment table, and you could end up with all different characters, all different loots, and all those kind of things. So just be careful about that too if you're tempted to do refresh in order to try and get, again, something that you really needed there.
All right. So I think we've talked about that enough. Let's move on to the next thing, which is data cards.
Sweet.
Finn, go ahead. Well, Grande got all excited. So, Grande, you talk about data cards starting off with.
Okay. So if we look in data cards, if you've spent more than approximately $100 in the game,
you might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck you will have the ability to look at Eurodium.
If you think Yoda, no, I'm sorry, I got a tangent there.
and in the Eurodium packs,
Oh,
The
open it up.
character for the month right now, for the character for the month right now is Geonosian Spy. Not particularly not the greatest. Um,
No.
this is an okay pack. This is a good way to get the new character if you really want the new character. However, be prepared that if you want to use them in game, you're probably going to have to spend somewhere in the realm of $200 plus in order to get
Mm-hmm.
that character fully 7 starred. So, also too, whenever we talk about these particular packs, do not unlock the character until you get a full unlock, which means you actually get the 32 shards, because you will save yourself some crystals and some packs by doing that. That's the same thing with the chromium packs. You want to not unlock the character until you get what's called a full unlock, so you get a square instead of the hexagon shape
Mm-hmm.
for that particular character. Um, these are probably good buys if you started the game and you're relatively low level, let's say below level 30, and you've decided you're going to plow a couple grand in the game. Buying the chromiums, buying the Eurodium packs would be a good deal. If you're thinking that you're going to be relatively free to play, or you're going to not spend a bunch of money in the game, then you probably want to wait. This whole game is a resource management game, and what I mean by that is, crystals, credits, gear, all that stuff, ability mats, all that stuff is a resource that is finite. By opening up more characters, what you've done is you've made it to where the ability is for you to spread your resources further apart and not end up with a core group of 3 or 4 characters or 5 characters or 15 characters that are as max as you possibly can, so that you can compete at the highest level. Um, I have not opened up except one chromium ever in my entire playing of this game, and I do not feel like it was a bad choice for me, even though I've spent money in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too, whenever we talk about the characters that are in Eurodium, the character that's in Eurodium will eventually go to Chromium, and the devs have told us that every character that it right now is a Eurodium exclusive will eventually become free to play.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're thinking that this game is a marathon and not a sprint, then if you're willing to wait and just be frustrated, you will get what you want. We've already seen this before. Old Ben, Qui-Gon Jinn, Rey, Leia, Grand Moff Tarkin, Cad Bane, Magna Trooper. We already talked about Ayla Secura is the most recent one that I can think of that went from pay to play. When we say pay to play, we mean Chromium exclusive, to the ability for you to farm her shards and not have to pull these chromiums.
Awesome.
Um,
I think that's a great analysis of the Rhodium pack. So let's get into the Chromium packs. Finn, I'm gonna let you break down the Chromium pack. What is the difference between the Rhodium and the Chromium, and give us a little insight.
So the main difference is that there's going to be some characters that are only exclusive to Erodium. And I mean, the Chromium packs, you'll get a lot of the standard characters that you guys are going to be wanting, I think, in this game. And then Erodium is going to be more limited. I don't know if you have it open right now just to see what's available right now, Ranger. But
Mm-hmm.
you can click on the packs and see that Erodium is much more limited in the number of characters that you guys can unlock. So that's going to be the main difference. Chromiums, you can also open up a large amount in order to be guaranteed a character. So if you open the Chromium Mega Pack, you'll be able to guarantee you get at least one character full. The other ones, you're all just guaranteed basically shards. So if you are going to open Chromium packs, definitely wait to open the Mega Pack. I wouldn't open the single one.
Mm-mm.
When you guys are first starting, the first Chromium that you'll be able to unlock, that you first open, will be able to give you a character. So only the first one is guaranteed a character.
and you have to be
Now,
relatively low level. If you're like above level 30, it doesn't work that way.
Mm-mm.
right.
Yeah.
So you'll want to wait a little bit and then open up your first Chromium. You'll be guaranteed a character. They do that kind of intentionally, I think, because then you feel like, oh, I got a full character. Let me open another one, and next time you only get shards.
Uh-huh.
So, so they have a good way of kind of deceiving you, although it's not really deceiving, to kind of get you to buy more Chromiums. But there are Chromium exclusive. There's Erodium exclusive. So make sure that when you guys are going to buy something, if you're looking for a specific character, make sure you look at the potential shards and characters that you guys can get. so that you know exactly what it is you can and can't get.
Awesome. Great explanation. So let's talk about the next thing in the data cards. You have training droid mega packs, and then you have credit mega packs. I don't use these. Do you guys use these at all?
I used to pay a bunch of money in the game, and so if you're trying to level a bunch of characters, you're going to end up needing to use these if you're plowing money into the game, because everybody talks about the credit crunch. Let me tell you, if you throw $300 at credit packs, you will run out of training droids really quickly, and then you will be buying training droid packs and credit packs. So I know why it's there. Do I think it's a good idea? No, it's a long game, and it's a marathon game. So if you're going to do it, don't necessarily, pull these. Even if you think, oh my gosh, I really need them. You're getting more credits from Galactic War at this point, from one Galactic War than they guarantee from the Mega Pack.
Yes.
So the best choice is just to wait.
I agree.
And to farm. But I see the allure of these particular packs. I regret some of the characters that I have at 80 that I did in order to do special events that pretty much get
initiative.
There's some other characters that I probably, if I said them, they would be somebody else's favorite character. So, so I don't want to rain on somebody's parade about their favorite character. So we will just leave it at that. That it only use this, I guess, if you're being whalish at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, buy the big ones.
And if you
don't buy the little ones. Buy
and
the
if
big
you
ones.
do,
it's either go big or go home.
All right, and then Bronzium. What about those, Finn?
So in early game, Bronzium is going to be a great source of resources for you. As you get into later game, it's not going to be too much benefit. You'll get a few credits at the beginning. You can get up to, I think, 1,000 credits through Bronzium. A lot of times you'll pull out like 100 or 300. But when you're at the starting levels, those can actually make a little bit of a difference between leveling and using training droids, because resources are a little bit scant at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
To open Bronziums, you need ally tokens. To get ally tokens, you'll need to first have allies, and then when you guys are going to do battles in Cantina or Light Side or Dark Side, or in some of the challenges, you can pick an ally to go and battle with you. If you pick an ally from your ally list, you will get 20 ally tokens. If you pick a random person or a random computer-generated ally, you will only get 10. If you sim the challenge or battle, you will only get 10. So I know that it takes a little bit longer, but I would recommend when you guys are starting to level up, make sure that you actually do the battles. Don't sim them, because you'll want to save the sim cards for later. Do the actual battles, use your allies, get 20 tokens. Every 11 battles or so, or how much is it? It ends up being 13 battles. You'll be able to unlock a Bronzium. Versus when you guys are doing a sim, you'll have to do 20 plus.
Right.
So make sure that when you guys are early on, and I know impatience is one of the hard things to kind of avoid, but I would really recommend getting allies, ally people that are on your PvP server that you guys are fighting while doing that, ally your friends, just get a whole list, join a guild and ally them, get people on your ally list, make sure that you do the actual battles, get 20 ally tokens per battle, and start getting Bronzium data cards. You will get 5 free per day, and those will refresh every 20 minutes, and then afterwards is 250 ally tokens, and I wouldn't bother saving those until I would say maybe around level 60, maybe level 70. There's a lot of people saving ally tokens right now because they're not getting much of the gear that they need, or they don't really need all the shards and whatnot. Until you're about level 60 or level 70, I would say use your ally tokens. It would be a waste not to.
Right. Great job. All right, let's go back to the store. Now, the other thing you can pick up is you can buy crystals. I will admit that I do buy crystals once in a while, but I don't, unless you're well. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys buy crystals, and how often do you guys buy crystals?
So I've bought quite a few crystals.
Well,
If you're gonna buy crystals, there's a few things that seem to be the best value. One of the ones that seems to be the best value is the monthly subscription. The monthly subscription is where for 21 days you get 100 crystals, and I think it's like $11. So you're getting 2,100 crystals for $11, and if you kind of put that in there, that's uh, that's better than the box crystal set. It's a relatively huge savings. And you're getting those crystals kind of when you need them and not just all at one time. So the monthly subscription, I think, is probably the best. If you're not, obviously the crystals get better as you go up. I will tell you, I have bought multiple vaults of crystals before in the past.
mm,
Um,
well,
it seems like a good idea. Um, I will tell you that I am having fun on a completely free to play account in this game, and so it is not totally necessary to buy crystals in this
mm-mm.
game. Buy crystals if you want to, but you do not have to by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope.
And the best deal is the monthlies.
Finn?
I have used a $15 iTunes gift card given to me by a friend, and then spent $20 of my own money on the chest.
Well,
That's all I've bought from there. And I mean, I'm pretty much free to play. Then outside of that, it's not a huge investment. And
So you don't do the monthly then?
no, I don't do the monthly. I spent the 20, and I can't remember what it was.
Did
But
you?
there was something that I needed a burst of crystals for.
Let me ask you this: did you buy any of the data? The when you first start the game, did you buy any like the Dark Side Droid packs or any of that stuff that came
No,
available?
I did not either.
Okay, I did not either.
I used the $15. So I actually remember now. I spent the $15 gift card at the time of the Ewok event when the donations were going to charity,
Yep.
and then the $20 was at the when furnaces first came into the shipment, and I needed to get furnaces. So that's when I initially did my other purchase.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
But that's
so,
it in terms of my spending. So, but definitely the crystals get better as you spend more money. So if you have $20, buy the 19.99. Don't buy two of the 9.99s.
Right.
They do add tax on this, so just remember that it will be $19.99 plus tax for wherever you are at in the world.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So $19.99 turns into $23 and some change or whatever.
All right. So the next thing, we've covered that. We've covered shipments. We covered data cards. Let's get into Squad Arena. All right, Finn. What is Squad Arena?
It is a place I hate in the game the most right
You
now.
love it.
Oh
You
my
love it.
gosh. Okay. I love that.
So Squad Arena is where you will pretty much get the bulk of your crystals from day to day if you're a high enough rank. So as you go up the ranks, there are more crystals. At the top, your ranks are going to be individually. So rank 1 gets a certain payout, rank 2 gets a certain payout, all the way down until number 5. And after that, it changes based on grouping. So 6 to 10 gets a certain amount, and then 11 through 20. So based on the different groups that you're in, you get different prizes. The crystals that you get will also vary based on those amounts. So if you get number 1, you'll get 500 extra crystals, versus if you're number 20, you get 200. So there is a big difference between what your rank is as you get to the higher levels. Now, at the lower levels, it's not going to be too much difference. So if you are rank 100, there's going to be 100 crystals. If you're rank 101, you get 75 crystals. So it's a 25 crystal difference. It is a big amount, especially when you're in lower levels, but it isn't as big as 200 versus 500 between 6 and 1. So the thing to consider now is, what should you be targeting when you're first leveling? I would always recommend that you try and get to rank 200 or above. Now, it seems kind of daunting at first to get all the way up to 200 when most of the time you start out at like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. It's the number of ranks that you can jump scales based on what your actual rank is. So the lower the rank is, the more that you can jump up. So if you're ranked and like 7,000, I know Grande, you have a new character, so you might be able to give a little bit of better number here. But I think if you're around 7,000, you can jump almost to like 5,500 or so with one attack, right?
So Right now my alt account is at like 395, and I can jump if I kind of sit here and refresh to about 340. So it's about in that 500 to 200 range. You can jump about 50 spots. I know way down at the end, whenever I was looking, and I was probably, I think I started on this alt account. I was like 10,000. I was like 13,000. You could jump almost 1,000 spots with one hit. So it was really kind of cool how that worked out as low level. But it gets pretty competitive once you get over 500, and in some servers it could get pretty competitive even when you get over 1,000, depending on if you're newer. So that's definitely something to think about.
And for those of you that haven't started playing yet, this is the biggest advice that I can give you guys. Um, a server is basically set up around every 10,000 people that have logged onto the game for the first time, all join a server. So whenever you guys will start playing, you will be on a server of people that started around the same time as you. It is really important that if you guys are going to start playing, make sure that you don't go on a vacation like the first few days, because you can easily fall behind. You will want, especially for PvP purposes. The rest of it will all kind of go up to whatever, will kind of go along with whatever your general playtime is. You can do Galactic War at your pace. You can do light side, dark side on your pace. PvP is one that you'll want to make sure that when you start the game, you start exactly around the time when you know I will be able to play for the next few weeks, few months, whatever it is, however much time you want to invest, so that you're not going to fall behind on your server and have a harder time getting to that rank 200 spot.
I will tell you something interesting about starting. Whenever we first started in the game, at least on my, there were a lot of people entering the game right away, and so you'd go into Squad Arena whenever you hit level 10, and the guy sitting at rank 1 was like level 12, and you were level 10. I will tell you that whenever I first started over here on my alt account, I open it up and I'm level 10, and the guy sitting at rank 1 is level 42 already. So there could be a huge discrepancy between who's already sitting there at level 1 and who is, and when you open it up, don't get discouraged about that, because there's a cap on levels. Eventually, if you farm the right characters, you can become quite competitive quite quickly. And it's still fun for me, even being on my alt account, being level 395, and seeing if I can beat somebody who's running a team of all 7 stars, and I'm only running 1 7-star. So I find it enjoyable, even though I'm not like on my main account where I basically hit rank 1 every day for my payout.
Yeah. And with that, then why am I saying that rank 200 is the one that you'll want to get? Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you click in the prizes and you see why is rank 200 the one you want to get, the reason why rank 200 is the one you want to get is because these currency, the currency in the arena store takes 400 ally token or 400 arena tokens to unlock, and then if you do your 3 battles a day, you get an additional 300, which means you would get 2 redeems a day if you're above rank 200. So you would get to redeem once, and you would get to redeem once in the arena store, and then whenever your account reset at midnight or 1 o'clock, then you would be you would be able to redeem again. So you would be getting a total of 5 shards for whichever character you're going for. I'm guessing that's what you're saying, Affinity. That's what I would say.
Yep. So you get the 600 tokens from Arena plus your 200 from your dailies. So that's 800. So you get 10 shards per day. If you guys are able to get, or 10
man,
shards
buddy, you're
per
going all
24
robot.
hours. Yeah. I'm
Little
robot-y.
bit.
Is it better now?
It sounds fine to me.
Maybe it's me.
Yeah, it sounds fine. All right.
Yeah, so you can get 10 shards every 24 hours if you guys are able to get rank 200.
Right. And then You can then you can go into the arena store and you can purchase characters from all the from all the tokens you can get along with the crystals. So going through, let's go through quickly the different characters you can go through. Just a quick synopsis of who. Let's just start with this. Who should we go for first in arena store?
Leia.
Leia. Okay.
I think there's two paths here. And the first path is you have to decide whether or not you are going
Excuse me.
are going to run whether or not bless you, whether or not you are going to run a full out droid team, or whether or not you are going to go for a not a full droid team. And so if you're going full droid, the answer is either HK47 or IG88. If you have decided I am not going full droid, I'm not going all in on droids, then the answer is Leia.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I see.
Another good one I see, two that are really good if you want to do just Rebel team. Stormtrooper Han's an amazing tank. Once you
Yep.
get him geared up, and his abilities are fantastic. I'm actually working. I've got him pretty much one more piece of gear I need to have him maxed. I've already got the mods in him, and then I'm going to be running PvP with him, along with Royal Guard. But because when he gets damaged, he gets turn meter. It's incredible. He's a really, really good solid tank. Another one is Admiral Akbar, especially for raids. Akbar has got some really great abilities and offers speed for rebels, but he does dispel, which is really important for raids. So he's another good one. Some of these other characters, I mean,
I think we kind of said it. I mean, what's interesting here is we either said you go for the synergy of 88 and HK47, or you go Leia, Akbar, Stormtrooper Han.
yeah,
In that order, because you're trying to come up with a good synergy team, and either one of those synergies would be great. After that, I think it's hugely debatable. There is a big push for potentially for Chief Nebbit in the new raid. I know you guys have talked about him on your stream before. After that, maybe Eth Koth if you were going for
the
Yoda,
Jedi
but I would tell you probably no on
yeah.
Eth Koth at this.
I did, but
And
that
to
was way back in the day. Yeah,
To find a different Jedi to go for, I will tell you there's been a huge rise. I know you guys know I'm a Night Sister fan. There are
No,
two
I
or
didn't know
three
that.
people. Yes, I'm a huge Night Sister fan. There are two or three people in Omega that are running a Saj Ventress lead, and they are hitting rank 1 every day with a maxed out Asajj Ventress. Asajj she's not a cleanser, but she is a debuffer for the entire opposite team. So, and she's the speed leader of the Night Sisters. So if you ran her lead with an old DACA and a GS, and an RG, a Royal Guard, you could potentially be running a speed stun team and doing quite okay. I was highly surprised whenever I saw the couple guys in Omega running a Asajj Ventress lead and taking rank 1. Asajj Ventress is like my old girlfriend, that was one of my first 7 stars in the arena store, and I kind of put her on the back burner for a long time, and I'm thinking about taking her off the back burner, by the way.
Interesting. Now I know Finn's favorite character on here, Ugnaught. Go ahead, Finn. Explain how great Ugnaught is.
Well, actually, my favorite character is on there, but he's my vanity character, and that's
No,
the
no.
Bajo Press.
No, it's Ugnaught. Don't be trying to cut the BS, Finn. It's Ugnaught.
I will not make a sale on Ugnaught for anybody starting out. He's purely a speculation raid character for the new one that's coming up, but he's relatively useless in the game right now otherwise, and unless you are solely farming for the new raid, which you shouldn't unless you have a lot of these other characters already, I would definitely say that he should not be one of the characters that you should be getting. A lot of the other characters used to be good and have kind of fallen by the wayside, like Sidious. He's okay. He's not great anymore. He used to be like the meta before the speed meta kicked in. So and then Greedo for the Scoundrel event. But yeah, my
That
vanity character is SWGOH Press from here. He was actually the first one that I got from Arena.
Greedo is like is like a poor man's Leia.
Mm.
He's got a double hit thing. You know, he's got some other things. You know, if we talk about some of these other characters, we talked a little bit about Chief Nebbit. A lot of people are really excited about him. Um, you know, Leia, obviously, Grand Moff Tarkin. You know, you know, maybe if you need him for the Empire and the mod challenge, Ugnut.
That's what I got him for. I just finished him and can get him 7 stars. I will be using him for the Empire event. And my dumbass this morning meant to hit Chief Nebbit, but I hit Greedo. I don't know what I was thinking. So I was like,
finger.
what I did is I was like, the Chief and the Greedo looked the same because I'd been drinking too much of the Jello pudding, and didn't I hit the thing? And then I should have. I meant to hit Chief. You know what? I can do that now. I wasn't even paying attention. I saw that and I was like, really? What the hell are you doing, Ranger? You dumbass. So, but yeah, I'll be farming good old Chief Nebbit. And I did a PvP match earlier. You can see there's at the top here for PvP matches, there's a power. Don't let that scare you guys. If you look at my power versus some of these other guys in the top here, it's way lower. It gives you a general idea of how much of a difference, but that still doesn't mean you can't win. You know, so don't let that be a detractor from you from going in. Really, when it comes to PvP, it's knowing your tunes and how to use them. We've talked about this in other streams, so I'm not going to break down how you should fight in PvP. That's a whole nother stream. But don't be afraid to go after teams as high as you can, right? Because any team can beat any team if you know how to use them right. You guys agree or disagree with that?
Yes.
I
Okay.
agree.
Okay, so we've covered PvP, we've covered the characters in there. All
I have
right.
one more thing really quick, Ranger, for the PvP.
If you say Ugnaught, I will slap the taste out of your
No,
mouth.
no, it has nothing to do with him. It actually has to do with the refreshes. So if you guys were watching earlier, you'll see that there was the opportunity for Ranger to spend 50 crystals on a refresh. There's 2 different ways that you can refresh Arena. One is when that timer is under 5 minutes, essentially. That means that if you spend 50 crystals, you will be able to do your next attack.
I can do another
That
battle.
means, well, I mean, don't spend the crystals on it.
No, but I've got. Yeah, I
so
did it earlier.
the way Arena works is that once you start your battle, you have 10 minutes until you can start your next battle. Arena battles can last up to 5 minutes. So that means that no matter when you start, so let's say that you start at 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time. If you start your battle right then, your next battle will not be able to start before 5:30 Eastern Time. If you waste all 5 minutes of your battle, then at 5:25 you'll have to wait 5 minutes. If your battle ends earlier, so let's say you finish your battle in 3 minutes, so now you have to wait 7 minutes before you can fight again. There will be a timer. If you spend the 50 crystals, you can eliminate that timer and then attack immediately. There is, however, another one that is, both of these can be useful, by the way, in the proper scenario. So the other one is once you have used all of your daily 5 attacks, you have the opportunity to spend 50 crystals and you will actually get 5 more attacks. It's not just for 1 more attack, it's for 5 more attacks. So both of these are beneficial to move up the ladder and possibly hold your position. So make sure that you use your crystals wisely. They'll be more useful to do refreshes at the top because moving from one rank to another makes a greater impact in crystals. So if you can go from rank 4 to rank 1, you're going to get an extra 150 crystals. Versus if you're going from rank, let's say 102 to rank 90, you're only going to get 25 more crystals. So you might not have paid off that 50 crystals that you use.
Right.
So those are the 2 different types of refreshes you can do in Arena.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add to that, Grande?
You know, have we talked about timers? Have we talked about that it resets at your 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. reset, and that you need to use all of these timers to your advantage in Squad Arena? As far as you know, if you've used your 5 battles, use your last battle, hit the 50 reset, then you can do your other 5 battles. And to try to do your battles in that last hour before your reset, it will get you the highest score possible. Um, I think that it's really important that if you want a high score in arena and you want to try to maximize, that you want to try and go for the highest possible score you can get before that prize timer runs out.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best piece of advice I can give you. Um, there are lots of videos on how to tank rank one, just and how to take a higher rank. Um, the other thing too is don't get bogged down if you don't take rank one. You know, there were months in this game where I wasn't even close to rank one. But I will tell you that if you use your experience and if you follow some of these tactics that um, that that Affinity and Ranger are talking about as far as which characters to get from where, you will do great and you will eventually get there. It just may take you a little while.
I agree. All right, I'm
Yeah,
finishing
I
up.
was pretty much a top 200 and maybe top 100 PvP for a long time when I first started, and then I was able to hit number one pretty much every day. I've gotten kind of lazy with it because I've gotten sick of arena, but um, yeah,
Not me.
just give us a little bit of time and you'll be able to get it.
All right, so I got my rank to 3. I'll go back and finish it later. Yada yada yada. Okay, so we got to see some PvP. All right, let's talk about the next things. Light side and dark side battles. Who wants to jump in and start this discussion? Let's put them all together. You want to do light side, cantina, dark side? They're kind of the same, a little bit different, but who wants to start this off?
Well, why don't we do Affinity start it off, and then I'll give you my crazy ideas about this.
You have crazy ideas.
I know
Never
it,
heard our
right?
stream before.
I know you and I both have, we both do it completely differently, so it's quite unusual.
Go for
All
it.
right, so light side and dark side are set up with two different levels at each area. So there's going to be stage 1, 2. They're called levels 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 8. Each one has a normal mode and a hard mode. In order to get access to the hard mode, you'll need to complete the normal. They all have a different number of stages, and they're written by the letters, so they go from A to whatever, L, M, J, whatever the actual stage is. So what you'll do is finish off a normal. As soon as you finish the last node of the normal side, you will unlock the next level's first normal node. So if you finish the last one in level 1, you'll unlock 2A, and you'll also unlock the first hard node in the first stage. In the hard areas, you'll be able to get shards, and you'll see that it's written in parentheses there, hard is where you earn shards. Most of the nodes, there's still a few that don't have them, but the nodes will almost always give you a character shard, or potentially a character shard, I should say, and you'll be able to see what character shard there is. You can do 3 attempts on a hard node before needing to spend crystals to refresh it. Personally, I don't refresh it, but we can hear Grande's theories also on how he does it. You have the nodes, and yeah, basically hard node or light side and dark side are set up in the same way, and you'll want to try and farm hard nodes of characters. Now, the way I deal with it is I will usually have 3 characters that I'm always farming hard nodes for. So it used to be Royal Guard, Rey, and Dooku. I kind of stopped Dooku in the middle and switched over to Barris for a little while. My current 3 are Ewok Scout, Imagundi, and Jedi Knight Anakin. But personally, I always farm 3 characters in hard nodes. I do all of their hard nodes. Jedi Knight Anakin actually has 3 nodes. Imagundi and Ewok Scout have 2 each, so that's 7 hard nodes that I'm doing every day. And then the rest of my energy I spend on the normal side. What the normal side has that's a little bit different from the hard side is gear. Now, both of them give you gear. They'll give you the purple gear, the blue gear, whatnot. Hard side might give you a little bit more. But when you compare the price in energy from normal to hard, hard is going to be 2 times the cost of the normal side at that same level. So at level 1, it's going to be 6 energy, and level 1 hard is 12 energy. And so when you go up to level 8, it goes from 10 and normal to 20 on the hard nodes. So you can see that there's going to be a little bit of difference once you get to the higher side. The benefit of normal is that if you're looking for a certain item, then you can farm more of those because you'll get twice as many attempts on trying to get that item because it's half the price in energy. So that's why I kind of do it that way.
Okay.
But what's your theory now, Grande? Your crackpot one.
So my thought was, okay, I thought, okay, the very beginning of the game, I thought, what do I need? I need shards. And I thought, what is the cheapest way to get shards? The cheapest way to get shards is Galactic War. What's the second cheapest way to get shards? 12 or 16 or 20 energy for the, if it's gear I need, and then that's the cheapest way to do it. So I will tell you that I farm hard nodes if I need two things. If I need the gear or if I need the character, I go for the hard node. And what I tell you about, and what I mean by that is I always pull the hard node. Now I feel like I get a better drop rate on the gear from the hard node, but that may just be my experience. I have pretty much always farmed hard nodes, and I will tell you there are some characters' hard nodes that give amazing gear. A good example of this would be General Veers. All of his hard nodes give amazing gear. There are some characters that are hard node only, that because I've farmed their hard nodes, I've gotten that character very, very close to 7-star. Ewok Scout would be a good example. Resistance Trooper would be a good example. There are some other characters that have just kind of miraculously gotten there on their own without me ever having to farm them with the more elusive energy, which is Cantina energy. For example, I've never gone for Jawa and I've never gone for Chewbacca in Cantina. I've only done their hard nodes, and I have Jawa at 6-star working on 7-star, and I have Chewbacca at 5-star working on 6-star, doing it that same way. The same is true for Talia. I have Talia at 7-star. I wouldn't highly recommend that, but I have run her hard nodes quite often. There are some other characters like I'm a Gundy, Stormtrooper, Snow Trooper that you can run that have some really good hard nodes. First Order TIE Pilot, I have farmed his hard nodes for a very long time. Obviously, Rey and Royal Guard farming their hard nodes. There are some really good characters that if you can get. So my main thing on hard nodes is if you get a character you don't have and you get gear you need, hard nodes is where it's at. And to the point where if you go and we haven't even really talked about this exactly, but if you go up and you hit where it says your player level, you can get into some of the stats that you need. I have farmed a total number of normal nodes at 21,000 normal nodes. I have farmed over 10,000 hard nodes.
How dare you?
And it works out really well for me to farm hard nodes because I needed the characters, and so that has really helped. And I will tell you that I have if you look at SWGOH. I have, and you look at who I have, I have 61 characters. I have 25 of them at 7-star. I could probably have more than that. But characters that I have that are into purple gear at this point is about 45 characters into purple gear, almost 50 characters into purple gear. I think I have all but like 7 of my characters are into that purple gear. So it has worked out well for me. I'm not saying it's the best way to do it, but it's a way where you're both focusing on the individual character that you want or that you need to get up at the same time as you're slowly hedging your bet on what the possible next character that you might need will be.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so I think we've covered that. Now, one thing we're not going to cover today is mods. We did 2 shows about this. If you want to know about mods, the challenges, the battles, mods, we have our own streams about that. So before we go to Cantina battles, let's talk about challenges. All right, Grande, what is a challenge and what do we use them for?
So the challenges are used to find resources that you need, and they're on different days and they have different timers. There are 3 different challenges that you can do 3 times a day, except on Sunday when you can do all 3 times a day, and that would be the Ability Mat Challenge, the training droid challenge, and the bounty hunter challenge. Finish all your challenges every time you get a chance. The other ones are going to be the INT challenge, which is intelligence, the AGI gear challenge, which is agility, and the STR challenge, which is gear challenge, which is strength. And so when you look at these different challenges, you want to make sure that you're doing them, according to your guild timers, in case it's the guild ability for that, or the guild challenge for that particular day. But you want to finish them off. The other thing is that as you get closer to high end game, you want to look at possible rewards in these individual ones, because you may think that you need to do tier 5, and you really need the gear that's in tier 4. And so you may end up needing to actually run a different challenge. Always try to finish the highest level challenge you can, so that way you can sim those challenges later, if you want to.
Okay, Finn.
Ditto.
Ditto.
Yes.
Really?
What? There's really nothing else to say with that. Grande covered it all really well.
But really, ditto? Yeah. Okay, so you can see I'm doing the battle itself for one of the challenges, and they're all different. They have different end bosses that you can get to.
Yeah.
But once you complete them, then you can sim them.
You sim them.
So, and then you see he's talking about the possible rewards. It tells you what the possible rewards are. There's 2 types. There's usually credits, droids, or ability mats. The other ones is for gear, which is intelligence, agility, and strength. So you can just sim those. So, but they are important to do every day. So, okay, let's get into Cantina battles. Hopefully, I'm gonna start off with Finn. He can say more than ditto.
Ditto. I'm sure he can.
Good.
Ditto again.
Well, thanks for joining Real Set the Genius. I have to go murder Finn's stupid monkey ass.
All right. So
and sing. All right, go ahead.
All right. Cantina battles. This is where you'll be able to get character shards at a much higher rate than you will the hard nodes in energy. With Cantina, there's no limit on the number of shards you'll get. The drop rate is about the same at about like 30%, about 1/3. So you'll be able to get shards at the same rate, except you will have your own source of energy, which is the Cantina energy that you'll see with the little red lightning bolt. With that, you'll be able to farm a bunch of different characters. The difference in level. So there are certain characters that have 2 nodes that you can get it from. One may be on level 2, one may be on level 7. What's the difference? If you are farming any of the nodes that have an energy of 8, you will be getting, all of them will give you the Cantina shipment tokens, but you will get less than 400 every single day. Now, what's the benefit of 400? 400 Cantina tokens let you redeem for 5 character shards. So if you are doing, let's say level 2, and you're trying to get Jawa or Dachka from the last node in 2G, then you'll be getting Dacha. You'll be spending 8 energy per shard, but you'll only be getting 13 of the Cantina tokens per attempt. In total, I can't remember the exact number. It's something around 20 some odd days that you'll be missing out on 5 shards. So it's not very often. You'll be getting close to 400, but just slightly under. Versus if you do a node in level 6 or 7, where you're now spending 16 Cantina energy, you'll be able to get more than 400 every single day. So in about roughly 300, every 30 days, you'll be getting an extra 5 shards. So if you want a Cantina character, so specifically a character from a Cantina node, if you want that character faster, then you're better off doing their node at a lower level. If you care more about the credits, if you care more about the ability mods, which you'll get more of at the higher levels, if you care more about the Cantina characters, all of that stuff, all the other rewards are better at the higher levels. So you have to decide whether or not you want to focus on a particular character, or whether or not you want the character plus all the external benefits. For me, most of the time, I'm focusing on the character from the Cantina node itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I will usually farm the lower one. There have been some lately, because I'm not as worried about getting a character really, really fast. that I'll be doing the higher nodes just because I just want more resources. But like Old Ben, I farmed the 2F node instead of the 6B
I
because I
did
just wanted
exactly
Old
the
Ben
opposite.
faster.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just wanted Old Ben faster, so I went with the lower node, even though the 6B would give me more benefit. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, so we can farm specific nodes for specific characters. Now, I always tell people, first character you should farm in Cantina battles, and this is just my personal opinion, GS.
GS.
Yeah, you guys agree or disagree with that?
Agree completely.
Yeah,
GS is the character you need to go for.
he's an amazing character. He is so
Yep.
versatile.
And
So
he's the first node, so he's the
Yeah.
easiest one to get out.
One
Right.
one. Like
I mean, good lord, just farming.
now I will tell you I have a slight discrepancy on number 2, and for an interesting reason. Who do you guys think is the second person you should farm out of Cantina?
Finn.
Nodes.
I honestly say it depends.
Yeah.
It would either be, for me, it would be Old Ben or it would be Dooku, but I think you would want an evasion lead to try and get up in PvP.
I agree.
So I think that's interesting. However, let me tell you what I'm doing on my alt account. On my alt account, I'm running for I'm doing Phasma lead because we're doing him out of Galactic War, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phasma's a great leader. I don't need a second leader, actually, and because you get GS if you start the game and you go for GS, you get GS finished before you're level 40, which means you can't go for somebody like Royal Guard, which you have to open up at 77, or and you can't get all the way to that high level node. You could get to the level 2 one and farm Old Ben. I actually went right down here to 1E and went Lando. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to unlock Lando just for his AoE, for a light side AoE. I think that once you hit level 77 and you can unlock that 6th stage, I will stop everything I'm doing, run that whole table all the way up to 77 and farm Royal Guard.
Yep.
Yeah.
6F. Another amazing character.
So I think that is, that's what my plan is, but I can't get there yet. So I will sit here on Lando at 1F, at 1E, until I can do Royal Guard. I'll run up, do Royal Guard, and then I'll probably come back and finish off Lando.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. That's there's some other good characters in there that that you could probably go for.
Yeah.
If you're having real trouble in GW, look at Barris. If you're not having trouble in GW, then I think after that, if you can make it all the way to the Anakin node, I think that would be a good choice potentially. If you can't make it all the way to the Anakin node, then probably Old Ben would be a good choice as well.
Yeah, second character I farmed out of here was Barris. She's a great healer. You'll need her for GW. So she was the second tune that I actually went for because I actually cleared up to 6, couldn't do 7, so I farmed Barris, got her done, then finished Royal Guard. That was kind of the route I took with Cantina battles, but you're not wrong going with Lando until those open up. It's a good character to have.
My thought is too is if I have a 7-star, if I have him 7-starred, then I can start early on the credit heist.
Right.
Because then I will have enough characters. I will have a Chewbacca, and I will have a I potentially could get somebody like Greedo where he's viable, and also have Lando. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my thought on that one, I guess.
Okay, so those are just some different nodes you can look at starting to hit so you can farm character shards. Then you begin to the actual tokens themselves, the Cantina tokens, and the Cantina battle store. I'm just going to throw this out there. The first character you should farm is Qui-Gon Jinn. That's my personal preference. He's the first one I went for. What are your guys' thoughts on the first character that you went for farming?
So when I was leveling, Qui-Gon was not in Cantina.
Right.
So he came out a little bit in the middle. I think, so I'm going to kind of give two answers here. The first character from Cantina shipments that you should 7-star, I think is Qui-Gon. But the first character you should unlock, I think, is Daka.
Yes.
Because there's no real other dark side healer.
Talia.
And it's hard. Yeah,
God.
Talia at low levels.
How dare
really
you?
Put the number on herself to heal. Like she's good. I still use
She's
her
better
on
after the
dark side.
rework. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
she's better after the rework, but even like at lower levels, her percentage that she takes away from herself is pretty high.
Yes, she
So
does.
so that's why I would say unlock Daka first and then go all out on Qui-Gon. But
Yeah.
that would be my preference.
Yeah. Grande?
I'm gonna go Qui-Gon Jinn, straight up, first
Yeah.
guy, has to be. Daka is a very close second, but I think after you get Qui-Gon Jinn and Daka, it kind of spreads out a little bit. You got to realize: are you going for the credit heist? Are you going for the Rebel event?
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking Jawa Scavenger is what you need for the next raids? There are some characters in here that I think we can definitely say are no or potentially low level characters
Jedi
that you probably
Guardian.
don't want to go for.
Jedi
Knight
no.
Guardian, Mob Enforcer, probably
No.
no. But I think that there's an argument that could probably be made for any of these other characters. We have a couple of guys in Omega that have an amazing First Order officer. I mean, amazing. And I'm like, I don't even have one shard for that guy. So maybe if you're looking at that in the mod challenges, First Order is the way to go.
Yeah.
I know I could see some of my Omega guys in chat telling you go for Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Credit heist and Boba Fett. I mean, Boba Fett is hard to gear. I think it's 5 raid items to go on Boba Fett. But Boba Fett is a great character, and Boba Fett could potentially see a rework.
He will actually. There was a dev on the Reddit that said that Boba Fett is getting a rework, just no time frame. But Boba Fett is one of them that's getting a rework soon.
Yeah. Poe, if you're going to do Resistance, he doesn't have the value that he used to. He used to be a character that, you would want to have. He was because of the speed and the way the meta was set up, but he's kind of lost traction. But you would only farm him if you're doing a Resistance team for mod and other things. Hoth Rebel Scout if you're doing Rebels. Fives is a good character. He used to be an amazing character, but you just saw I had him in a PvP battle. He can still be a viable piece if you can get him geared. And there's a guy on my shard that does an all counter team, and I tell you, I mean, he can still be viable, but it's going to take a lot of gear. He does take a lot of gear, but he's a pretty good character to have. You can use him for the Empire event. And other things, so he has a pretty decent tune. Ahsoka Tano.
You can use him in the raid. You can use 5s in the raid because he puts slow.
Yep. Ahsoka Tano's another. She's a good piece. I see people run her. She's a Jedi that does really good damage and can heal with her attacks. So
nice sister synergy as well.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that out.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Jawa Scavenger is a good piece, but some you want to definitely avoid. Jedi Knight Guardian. I mean, don't do it. Okay, just
Mob Enforcer.
Right. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. I mean, if you have nothing else to farm and you've farmed everything, then by all means farm them. I mean, yeah, use your tokens to get Grievous. Don't sit there and get tunes that you don't need that are not going to be valuable. So, okay, so we've covered this. Anything else we want to add on that?
I think this kind of goes into some other stuff too, which is when you start farming somebody, farm them all the way,
right?
Or at least farm them. I mean, don't stop halfway if you can at all help it. There are very few instances when I would tell you that stopping is a good idea.
Yeah, the only time I ever stopped was when they put Leia in PvP. Because I was farming Han, and I was like, wait, Leia's available? Let me just get her ass, because I'd already got her through some chromiums and stuff, and I was like, gosh, she's so amazing, I gotta get her. And I stopped and went for Leia. But that's one of those rare occurrences. Guys, golden rule, if you start a character, finish it out. Just finish it. Plain and simple. You won't regret the decision.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next thing we have mod shipments. That's all this mod stuff we've covered in other streams. If you want to know about it, go check out our other streams. We go into detail analysis about how all this works. What was the stream we did that covered all the mods? So if you want to go in there and look at the challenges, the battles, mod shipments, you can look in there and we break that down. Let's go into guilds. Now, if you're in a guild, this is where this unlocks, and
it unlocks at level 23 or 22 if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know the
Maybe
levels.
28.
Right.
Somewhere in there.
Right. So go ahead and whoever wants to start talking about Finn, why don't you talk about the guild section?
Sure. So the guild section has a few different parts. Obviously, you need to join a guild first, and it is level 20 something. I can't remember either, but it's 20 something that you'll be able to join a guild. You can join a random guild, or if you know somebody, you can go through your ally page and request an invite if it's invite only. If it's closed, obviously you won't be able to get in. With the guilds can be up to 50 people. You guys will together work on collecting guild bank coins, which is the icon on the right. Those are collected by everybody in the guild, spending up to 600 energy per day, and that includes any energy, so regular and cantina. You spend 600, you'll be getting 600 guild bank coins for yourself deposited into the guild bank at the time of your guild reset. So that's when your daily activities change. That's been a recent change. There are some bugs to it right now, which hopefully they'll fix. But you should be getting 600 every day if you spend that much.
Yep.
Um, you will also collect what's called guild currency, and that's the icon towards the left that looks like the stack of coins. The guild currency is what you will use for your own personal stuff. Now, you get those in two different ways. One is through guild activities, and with guild activities, each day has a different activity. You will do that. So right now it's dark side battle. So every time you spend energy on dark side, it's going to add up your total. Based on where you rank in your guild, you'll get a different amount of guild currency. The amount that you get for some of the non-energy based ones, so that's PvP attempts, which is tomorrow from when we're doing the stream right now. There's also one for challenges. There's one for Galactic War. The payouts on those are a little bit less than the ones that you get for energy. So make sure that you're just kind of aware of that. It's not the same amount of guild currency that you'll get every day based on your rank. Um, as your guild gets more and more of the energy spent today and dark side, you'll see that there's tiers. And as you go from one tier to the next, the number of guild currency that everybody in the guild receives will increase. So it would be up to the guild to organize what tiers, if any, you guys are trying to meet, put any minimum standards on there, those kind of things. Once you get guild currency, you can spend them in the guild shop. Now, there's two different things that you can buy. You can buy raid gear or you can buy shards. Shards are limited. In the upper left position will always be a guild shop exclusive character. So that will be Dengar, the Grimorian Guard, and Jawa Engineer. So you'll always see one of those characters in that top left spot. The other two in that top row will be other characters that have been determined rare enough to be in the guild shop. So those will include, and you guys can tell me if I'm missing anybody here. It's Ray, Imagundi, Luke, Ewok Elder, Resistance Trooper. I don't know if I'm missing anybody else.
Luke.
Yeah, you said Luke.
Yeah, Luke, Ray, Ewok Elder, Imagundi, Resistance Trooper.
Yeah, I think those.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe missing
right.
one. But those are the characters. Then you can also buy gear. Now, 4 of the 6 slots are going to be for raid gear, so you can buy pieces of the droid collar salvage, the furnace salvage, the shipment, the scanner, or the disc salvage. You'll also get 2 spots.
Dengar is in there. Did you say Dengar?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, Dengar's in the top left for the guild exclusive ones.
Yeah.
The Gamorrean Guard and Jawa Engineer.
Okay.
So the other 2 spots in those bottom 2 rows will be for regular raid gear. Just for regular purple gear. So you'll see that a Ranger has the Mach 8 Blast Tech or the Mach 2 Zatlin Black Gel. Those ones I would not recommend buying. If you really wanted those, you're better off spending crystals and buying them from the actual shipments.
Yeah,
they'll probably cost about like 200, 300 crystals. So it's not as bad. I wouldn't waste guild currency here. If you want to spend guild currency on raid gear, it's probably not the worst thing you could do, but I would not try and buy a whole set of 50. I would buy the 5 or the 10s just to complete a piece from what you have already collected raids.
Yep.
Otherwise, that would definitely save for the characters.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Anything in Guild that we missed? You also have the Guild Exchange. Grundy, you want to talk about the Guild Exchange?
Guild Exchange. So Guild Exchange is where
It's a newer feature.
you ask for gear, and you get to ask once every 24 hours. And for raid exclusive gear, you can salvage. You can ask for 2. For purple gear, you can ask for 5. For anything below that, you can get 10. Um, and then this just goes back to asking for stuff. It seems like in my guild, everybody wants stun cuffs, thermal detonators, and and stun guns. That seems to be what everybody asks for. And of course, that's what we all need. So you're like, so I said, can you guys ask for something else? I'll be more than happy to help you if you'll just ask for something I don't need that badly. So when someone asks for something else, I pretty much give it to them. It's just kind of, and especially if it's something, if I have a bunch of it, there are a couple raid pieces that I have a bunch of raid pieces for, like furnaces, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in my guild asks for furnaces, you get a furnace every time from me because I just have a bunch of it. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, just thought I'd
I did the same.
just thought I'd kind of put it out there. Basically, I try to get it. I try to give it, if at all possible, unless it's something I'm actively working on, like stun guns and stun cuffs.
Cool. So that's kind of the main thing. Then you have the raid section itself. This is where you do raids. The raid will be launched, and then you can see when the raid's open. I don't have one open right now to show, but it'll show. It'll have a leaderboard. It'll show or summary of where you're at with your damage. Kind of show you the prizes and everything. I wish I had that open right now, but kind of when you're doing raids, this is where you'll see all the raid information. Anything you want to throw in there, Finn, about that?
So when you guys are doing raids, up to tier 6 will be unlimited in how long it'll take you to clear it. There's a daily reset, so you guys can spend all of your characters, and then the daily reset happens and you can use all of your characters again. Tier 7, you don't have any resets. You get a flat out 2 days in order to do the raid. So make sure that you guys are ready before you go into tier 7.
Right.
If you aren't ready, then you'll basically be wasting 60,000 guild bank coins, which is about 2 days worth of a full guild doing all of theirs to collect. So just be ready. Make sure that you're doing tier 6 at a relatively good rate. You should be finishing it in one reset, maybe just after the second reset, to see that you're getting okay damage and everything in, and then you should be good for tier 7.
Yeah. And also, they also with guilds, if you're in a guild, you can go into guild chat and you can talk to other players in your guild. Nice little feature they offer. Okay, so I think we've covered guilds pretty good.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the other functions in the game. On the top left, if you hit, there's a little icon there where you can go in there and you can control your audio. It's got tips and tricks. You can your Google Play
Go
sign out.
into tips and tricks, which is interesting. If you actually go into that tips and tricks, there's some interesting that I don't think everybody, as being what I would consider an experienced player, I've sometimes had some very young players say, "Well, I went into the tips and tricks section, and I was like, I never even go in there."
Yeah, it's got battles, squads. It's got all the stuff in there for promotions, gear, training, progress. Summoning, leveling, daily activities, achievements, crystals. It's got everything. It's for those basic players starting out. You can go in here and you can look at, some of the stuff that'll be helpful for you.
Yep.
So if you're new players just starting, you control your audio. It's got the legal stuff, your Google Play stuff. So it's got some stuff. It's got a help section in there. You can go there and go to your help.
You can connect to Facebook for 200 crystals.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. It looks like Ranger's already done that, so it might not show up, but yeah, 200 crystals free. And you can disconnect right afterwards, by the way, once you collect your crystals, so
right.
You don't have to keep it linked.
All right.
Clicking your name, right? Isn't that the next one? Or clicking where it says player level.
Let me see, player level. Yeah, let me click that. There you go. So you can kind of see your inventory. It's got your ally code. You can show your stats on the right. Total PvP 1, normal battles 1, It just breaks down everything that you've done in the game that they're tracking for you here. So you can do that as well. Let's see. Then let's move down to the left side here. We've got characters. This is where all your character information is. Fan, you want to go ahead and start? Anything in here you want to cover?
So characters are leveled through three different ways. There's the actual level itself, which will go through one until the max is going to be whatever your level is currently. So if you're level 80, it's going to be 80. If your level is 60, then your character's max is going to be 60. You have the stars, which can go anywhere from 1 to 7 stars, and you have the gear. The gear is going to be represented by different icons. It's a little bit hard to tell at first. You have different scales, though, that you can tell just by the color. It goes from white to green to blue to purple. Once you get to purple, your characters will have protection. So when you guys are first starting, you'll want to try and get all of your characters on the screen to kind of a purple outline. It doesn't have to be the thick ones with like the double borders, kind of like a Ranger has on a lot of these, but just a simple one that's a simple ring with a few little like
Knobs.
protrusion. Yeah, whatever you want to call them. It looks like a little wheel. So that's what you essentially want to try and get. Ultimately, when you guys are going to get to the higher levels, you'll want to try and get the max stars, the max level, the max gear, and you'll be able to tell that based on the icon. It arranges based on power level, but you can use the different things at the top in order to resort them based on different factors that you want. It's fairly limited, but usually the power screen is what only thing I use. Really, I don't really do much else. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that some of the characters have like a little ghosty appearance. It means that you haven't unlocked them yet. So those are the ones that you'll want to figure out whether or not you want to unlock. They're going to be organized based on the percentage that you are from unlocking it. So a 2 out of 50 will be a little bit higher than a 1 out of 80 and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the character screen.
Okay.
Green pluses, by the way, mean that there's gear that you can equip in those spots. Doesn't mean that it's unique to that character. Sometimes it overlaps, so you'll want to make sure that you're equipping it in the right character and not just because it has the plus sign.
Okay.
Yellow means that you need to upgrade. You need to level that character before you can add that gear to them.
Yep.
And then
from
the
good.
screen, you can also sort by activated, non-activated, light, dark, and you can also sort by power, health, and rarity. Which rarity is really just the stars.
Right.
They say rarity, and for the longest time, I'm like, what the heck is rarity? How can you tell me that I'm thinking I'm thinking Dengar is a pretty rare character. Why didn't you put it at the top? And I'm like, oh, it's because he's 2-star. I got it now.
Mm-hmm.
Some other things is there's an interesting way to train in here. You can actually select characters to train from the train button, and then the mod button is where you can see all of the characters and mods kind of at one point, which is kind of interesting to see them all at once rather than just going into the individual character and managing their raid gear.
Okay.
So I think that those are some interesting ones. And of course, you can buy data cards from here.
Right.
So you can go right into the buy more from here as well.
All right. Next section is allies. This is just basically your allies. You can invite, you can manage, you can check your status of requests that you sent. So this is really where you just control your allies. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we need to get too much into here, do we?
No.
All right. Inbox. Inbox is where you get messages, daily messages, when you get rewards or messages from EA. Anything in here will be in your inbox. Friend requests, that kind of ally requests. You also have, you get your daily login rewards, that kind of thing. You have the newsletter, which kind of, if there's new information being pumped out, like I've got it open now, it'll be here. It also has a part where you can go to the forums. This will take you right to the SWGOH forums, where you can get a lot of good information there. There's different sections, but that's for another stream. But the forums, you can go there for, they get information about everything, off topic, guild recruitment, PvP, GW. They have a general section. They also have the developer notes, things of that nature that you can go to. So it takes you right there. I'm not going to click it because I don't want to mess with going to the internet. through this right now. Um, what else? And then achievements. Achievements are an interesting thing. So, Finn, talk about achievements section.
So the achievements are essentially different milestones that you can get in the game, and they all kind of vary. Sometimes it's based on the number of light side characters that you've unlocked, number of dark side characters that you get, and the rewards vary. This is going to be the primary place that you'll get most of your Vader shards.
Mm-hmm.
So as you unlock more characters, you'll get more Vader shards that you'll have access to. Um, as you do more in arena, as you buy shipments, as we mentioned earlier, you'll get all of those different kinds of things. So you'll want to scroll through your achievements. They're going to be ranked again kind of on a percentage basis. The higher percentage of completion that you have will be towards the top, and you'll be able to see which ones you're close to getting completed, which ones you still have a little bit of work to do. Some of them, like the assault battles and the different tiers of the mod challenges, all just have a 0 out of 1, meaning once you do it, you get the completion bonus. So those ones are fairly easy. Some of them, like the characters, require you to kind of unlock a lot of characters and does require a little bit of time. So you'll want to see which ones you want. I wouldn't prioritize too much based on these. Some of them, like the shipments, are fairly easy to get, and like Grande was saying earlier, you might want to just buy all the shipments until you unlock that. Um, but overall, use these as just an idea if you're not sure what you should be getting. If you're not sure what character to farm, maybe you're only one character away from doing the next tier of the light side achievement, so you'll farm a light side character instead of a dark side or something like that. But these are just milestones that they'll give you rewards for as you progress through the game.
Absolutely. And then on the very lower bottom, we have you have a guild tab or guild button, which will take you right to the guild section, which we already covered. We already talked about the guild chat. There's another button, an icon for it right there. Then activities. Activities. Last thing we're going to cover. Grande, what are daily activities? We did cover the guild activities, which we showed
We
earlier.
did cover, yeah.
Let's talk about
So
daily activities.
daily activities is just like what it says. That's where you're gonna go into, and you're gonna do like the master card opener, where you go and get one bronzium, where you do three light side, three dark side, where you train a character, level a character if you're above 80, where you basically do all of your dailies. It's also the first area where you can look at by clicking over to the guild activities of tracking your 600 personal in the guild. You pretty much want to finish every daily in that 24-hour period by your reset. Now you may decide sometimes that you want to do them at different times based on what the guild activity is for the day, but you want to finish all of those activities every day. And then I want to say there are 3 times a day when you will get extra regular energy delivered here for you. I think it's at lunchtime, and then
1 p.m.
right
Eastern,
at your peak.
yeah, 7
Yeah,
Eastern,
right
and
at your
10 Eastern.
yeah. Well, but it's basically based on your when your reset is. And we didn't even really talk about that, but everybody's resets are different around the world based on when you open the game. So you think you're rank 1 and you beat everybody. No, you just beat them because it's your reset. You did not beat everybody in the world at one time. They have their own clock for all that stuff. So, but this is where you get all that kind of stuff. The biggest thing I can tell a new player is finish all your dailies. Finishing all your dailies is how you will get tons of experience points, and it's how you will level as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. Anything you want to add on that, Finn?
I so I haven't checked with the most recent numbers, but each of the daily activities gives you crystals, and the total amount during the last time was 52. So you used to be able to get 52 crystals from all the daily activities. I don't know if they changed the numbers, but it should probably be somewhere around there. So to go with what Grande said, make sure that you do all of them because, especially early, if you're not hitting those high arena ranks, this will be your main source of crystals.
Yes, it will be.
Yes.
All right. So we've covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything I missed in this kind of breakdown of the game and stuff like that?
Oh man, SWGOH.gg just added mods to their screens. They updated their entire website. I know that's totally off topic, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well,
It's completely off topic. I apologize.
You can pimp the site.
Well, it's not my site, but I mean, they updated it since we've been streaming.
Mm.
And now it has mods on there.
Wow.
That's insane. It's brand new.
That is different.
And it's only halfway working.
Mm.
So anyway, just to totally just throw something crazy out there.
All right. Well, Finn, anything you want to add or anything?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, we're not going to take any questions today. We've been on here for 2 hours, basically, covering different aspects of the game and stuff like that. So we're going to end the stream now. If you do have questions, Finn, or ideas or suggestions or anything like that, Finn, where can the folks? Let me put up the thing. If I can get it to work.
While he's getting that, after the stream, we're gonna go ahead and put all the information in the description of the video, so you'll be able to have a link to our YouTube channel, which you'll be able to subscribe for. We have a website, which is realsithogenius.blogspot.com. Again, it'll be linked in the description of the video chat, plus on the screen here. And we have a Twitter and Facebook that will give you guys updates on whenever we're posting videos. And yeah, we'll go ahead and link Mr. Grande Patron's YouTube channel also, so you guys can go and subscribe to him also. And yeah, check out all the links that we have.
And if you want to tell people where they can find you at Grande, go right ahead.
So you can jump into Discord. I'm either in the Rebel Base Discord, or I'm in teamskunk.com, lordskunk.com, and I normally stream on either my Grande Patron site or I stream on lordskunk.com's YouTube site.
Awesome. All right. So we've got the
pleasure. Thanks guys so much for doing this and for going through it. I know I learned a lot. It's always good to get different people's opinions on some of this stuff. So I really appreciate you guys doing this.
No, not a problem. It's something that had to be done. So hey, everyone that was here today, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining, and we will see you guys next time on Real Sith the Genius.